Police have confirmed that a case of conspiracy to commit murder has now been registered and is being investigated. It's after 3 men had to be removed from the High Court in Pretoria this afternoon, where the court was hearing the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial as usual. The court was expected to hear arguments on witness Sfiso Kwabini Zungu's statement, which Zungu has consistently denied giving. The trial had to adjourn until tomorrow to allow the lawyers to deal with the new developments. The men, by the way, we're hoping to show you in these pictures, were seated in the public gallery inside the court and were then taken out for questioning. You might see there in the background as they are then eventually ushered out. We'll keep those pictures on loop for you as we bring in to the conversation the National Police Spokesperson, Athlenda Mathe. Athlenda, very good evening to you. Welcome to SABC News. So one of the things you've said in your statement is that ultimately this plot to attack, if you will, key figures in the Senzo Meyiwa trial was targeting people on the side of the state. What exactly does that mean? Who was the exact target?
Well, a very good evening and thank you for the opportunity. I can confirm that we have registered a case of conspiracy to commit murder, and we have been investigating this case for quite some time now. We have received solid intelligence that there are a group of individuals who attend the Senzo Meyiwa trial proceedings with the sole purpose of looking for an opportunity to target certain officials that are working on this particular case. We have seized gadgets and electronic devices to corroborate what we are talking about, to corroborate our evidence. And our teams are busy analyzing these gadgets. So it is a serious case. We are taking this threat seriously. We know that it was targeted at the judiciary, at some of the court officials, at some of the prosecutors, and some of the members of the investigating teams. So today, what happened is that we were proactive in our approach. We received intelligence that there are a group of individuals in and around the court. But as you can see in that video, these particular individuals were inside the court. We took them in for questioning. We did not detain them. We have released them. We were merely profiling them. We wanted to unmask them, to find out who they really are and why they are attending these particular court proceedings. But however, we are aware that there are 4 others that upon police and conducting this particular process within the court, they then ran away outside. But we are on high alert. We have had to obviously heighten security around the court and certain officials.
When you say certain officials, you mentioned, for example, court officials, the judiciary. Should I take that to mean, for example, someone like the prosecutor, Advocate Baloyi, the judge himself as a target? Are you able to be more specific?
Well, I cannot go into detail for security reasons, but all I can assure the nation is that we are taking these threats quite seriously, and the steps taken today was merely to ensure that we prevent any loss of life. Like I've said, we have seized electronic devices, gadgets that would complement or corroborate what we are saying. So we are in talks with the NPA on how best do we improve security around this particular case, around certain individuals, looking at the threat of when these officials walk into court, when they go home, inside the court itself. So those are some of the aspects that we are looking at. We have previously, as the SAPS, held a meeting with the ministers of justice, held a meeting together with the Minister of Police, where they discussed the integrated security court plan that is already there, that is in place, seeing at how do we enhance it to ensure that we prevent attacks in and around our courts.
What does the solid intelligence that you say you were acting on today tell you about the motive? Why would people want to be at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial with the intention to harm, maim, or kill people from the prosecution, the judiciary?
Well, we know that the case the trial has really reached a sensitive stage. You know that the state has already closed its arguments. It's now time for the defense to prove its case. So we now know that we are at a sensitive stage. Well, for the motive for now, we wouldn't want to discuss that in the public domain, but just to say that our investigating teams, our cold case unit, is working on this particular information, and we are not taking it lightly. We take it as a serious threat, and we are looking at enhancing and improving security around certain officials that I would not want to identify for security reasons. So any steps that are taken by police in ensuring the safety and security of everyone who is in that particular court at the time, it's just to ensure that we prevent loss of life because of the evidence at hand.
To be clear, though, while you can't go into specifics, these people would be targets, for want of a better word, of potential assassins, if I can use that language, because of their involvement in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, for the record.
Well, absolutely. The information at hand is that everyone that is being targeted is targeted for a specific role that they are playing in overseeing the case. It could be the judge, it could be a prosecutor in the case, it could be the investigating team. So we are not taking the threats lightly. We are being proactive in our approach to ensure that we prevent loss of life. So we are on high alert. We will continue as and when we feel that the description of the individuals that are attending the Senzo Meyiwa trial fit the description of the suspects that we are looking for, as and when police have the right to take in anyone just for questioning, to profile them, and if nothing is found, we can release them.
I think it gives us an opportunity then to expand on that, because if you're acting on solid intelligence, 4 people, you say, ran away when police acted, right? You had these 3 that you then took in for profiling. I think that's the word you used earlier. If the intelligence is so solid, why then were they ultimately released? And how do we know that they don't pose any risk now to the people involved? Because I don't know if you even know where they are as of this evening. But secondly, do we know if, based on your intelligence, any of these men today, the 3 that you were able to take in for profiling and the 4 who fled, if they are perhaps acting on the orders of any of the people, especially those who aren't on trial, who are believed to have been linked to the killing of Senzo Meyiwa?
Well, I cannot go into detail of what we have uncovered. I think at a later stage, once that particular case is enrolled, and once there's more information, we will be able to detail exactly what we have found. But obviously, those that are involved are those that are involved in the case somehow. I won't mention who exactly, but we've got solid evidence and solid intelligence on what we are saying. But we'd like to assure the nation that we're not taking this lightly. We have security measures in place. There were previous threats before against especially the investigating team in this case, the lead investigator, but there were security measures that were put in place. But this one is more, it's of a bigger magnitude because there's a larger group of individuals and high-ranking officials that are being targeted. But we are quite confident of the measures that we've put in place. The team is proactive, and we will continue to conduct whatever operation that is required to ensure that we prevent loss of life.
I'm going to get into trouble for going over time, but briefly, I know you don't work for the Justice Department, but what are the implications of what happened today for the trial and the admission of people into the public gallery in particular? Will you still allow, for example, whoever is there to say support a witness to come into the gallery? I know that was strictly controlled in the very early days of the trial. And when can we expect arrests in connection with this plot that we're now investigating?
Well, security remains tight around this particular case. It's just on our side to tighten up and enhance that particular security, especially for certain individuals that have been identified as targets. But for now, I won't say much, just to assure the nation that police are on the ball. We are on the right track, and any operation that is conducted will be to ensure that everyone is safe and secure that is attending, obviously, this particular trial.
Thank you very much for that. Athlenda Mathe, National Police Spokesperson, speaking to us about an alarming incident today. Confirmation that 3 people who were in the gallery at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial were there with some intention to harm people involved on the state side, members of the judiciary, court staff, as well as the prosecutors, apparently, according to the police spokesperson on that list. That brings us to a question that we asked you at the beginning of the program related to developments at the High Court in Pretoria today. We were asking what you make of the removal of those men from the public gallery. Let's have a look at your responses. These are coming from ex-Gabonewe High. He says that this incident transforms the trial from a complex legal battle into a high-stakes security drama. It intensifies public engagement while simultaneously deepening our cynicism about the possibility of an elementary resolution to a case that has gripped us for a decade. Larasa Batlamollo says, to be honest, we aren't safe anymore. Some thugs don't respect members of the police because it's alleged they are working together. Thugs, murderers, drug cartels should not be given bail. That's from Larasa Batlamollo in Zebediela. Bethwell saying that my sentiments are that some top dogs are under scrutiny as per developments in the case. This is a myth to delay the trial that has taken us a decade and a year-long. SAPS should guard against the threat of key roles in that case. And you're right, Bethwell, it's exactly 11 years this year since Senzo Meyiwa was murdered in Vosloorus in 2014. Those views, by the way, do not reflect the positions of SABC News, but please keep them coming as we continue to track that story.